The Grand Regal Theater was bathed in golden lights, the red carpet gleaming under the flashing cameras. Hollywood's most elite had gathered for one of the biggest nights of the year, the annual Film Excellence Awards. Every A-list celebrity, director, and power player was in attendance, each one draped in designer gowns and tailored tuxedos, exuding wealth and status. Jason Statham, ever the picture of effortless confidence, stood among them. Dressed in a sharp black tuxedo, he moved with the calm precision of a man who had been in the spotlight for years. But despite the glitz and glamour around him, his focus was only on one person. Rosie Huntington-Whiteley, his fiancée. Draped in an ethereal silver gown, Rosie looked like a vision of elegance. She had always been breathtaking, but tonight there was something extra about her presence. Maybe it was the way she smiled at him, or the way her hand found his so naturally, as if it belonged there forever. Before we dive deeper into this thrilling and intense story, let us know where you're watching from today, and if tales of action, drama, and standing up for what's right captivate you, don't forget to subscribe to Story Dash. Soon we'll share another story that will leave you speechless. As Jason and Rosie navigated the carpet, reporters called out questions, photographers snapped relentless pictures, and fans lined up behind velvet ropes, hoping for a chance to see their favorite stars up close. And then she appeared. A striking brunette in a shimmering black dress, eyes lined with dark kohl, lips painted blood red. Her beauty was undeniable, sensual, commanding, the kind that made heads turn. But there was something about her expression, the way she moved, that sent an instinctive alarm ringing in Jason's mind. She wasn't just any fan. She was on a mission. As Jason and Rosie approached the entrance, the woman stepped forward, bypassing security effortlessly. She didn't hesitate, didn't stumble. She knew exactly what she was doing. "Jason," she called out, her voice smooth as silk. "Huge fan. Can I get a quick picture?" Jason was used to this. It came with the territory. With a polite nod, he turned to her, offering a small, charming smile. Of course. She pressed up against him for the photo, her body closer than necessary. Rosie, standing beside them, caught the way the woman tilted her head ever so slightly, letting her hair cascade over Jason's shoulder, her fingers lingering just a little too long against his suit. Click. The woman pulled back, but her gaze never left Jason. "You're even hotter in person," she purred. Jason chuckled politely, stepping back. "Appreciate that." But she wasn't done. "Actually," she continued, twirling a strand of her hair, "I don't usually do this, but..." She reached into her clutch, pulling out her phone. "Mind giving me your number? Just in case we run into each other again?" A beat of silence. Rosie's eyes narrowed. Jason's smirk faltered. And in that moment, the air between them changed. "I don't think so," Jason said, his voice polite but firm. "But I appreciate the support." The woman's smile tightened, her fingers gripping the phone a little harder. "Come on," she pressed, lowering her voice. "Just a friendly exchange." Jason shook his head. "I'm engaged." "Oh," she exhaled, as if just now noticing Rosie standing right there. "To her?" She let her eyes trail over Rosie in a slow, deliberate assessment, lips curling at the edges. "You're gorgeous, obviously, but, let's be real. Jason could do better." The air around them thickened. Rosie, ever the epitome of grace, didn't react at first. She had dealt with women throwing themselves at Jason before. It wasn't new. But this was different. This wasn't admiration. This was provocation. Jason placed a firm hand on Rosie's back, a silent reassurance. "We should get inside," he murmured. But the woman wasn't finished. "You know, Jason," she said, tilting her head, "if you ever get bored of playing house, I promise I'd be much more fun." That did it. Rosie turned sharply, stepping forward until she was toe-to-toe with the woman. Her icy blue eyes burned with restrained fury. "You should walk away," she said evenly. The woman smirked. "Or what?" Jason exhaled. He had been in countless fights before, had faced down trained killers, assassins, and the most ruthless criminals in Hollywood blockbusters. But nothing compared to a woman scorned. Or, Rosie continued, her voice silky smooth, I'll make you. The woman let out a laugh, tilting her head mockingly. Oh, sweetheart, I'd love to see you try. Before Jason could intervene, Rosie moved. She grabbed the woman's wrist, twisting it just enough to make a statement. Not enough to break it, but enough to make her breath hitch. The woman's smirk faltered, her confidence slipping as she realized Rosie was not just a pretty face. I said, walk away, Rosie whispered. The woman yanked her hand free, rubbing her wrist. For the first time, she looked uncertain. Her eyes darted around, realizing that people were watching. Phones were recording. This wasn't just a private spat anymore. This was public. Rosie leaned in slightly, her voice low. Find someone else to stalk tonight. The woman's expression darkened, but she knew she had lost. With a final glare, she turned and disappeared into the crowd, heels clicking against the marble floors. Jason let out a quiet breath, amusement flickering in his eyes. Well, he muttered, glancing at Rosie. That was something. Rosie smoothed out her dress, as if nothing had happened. She's lucky I didn't take off my heels. Jason chuckled. Remind me never to piss you off. The rest of the night continued without incident, but the moment had left its mark. By the next morning, headlines were ablaze. Jason Statham's fiancée confronts fan at award show. Rosie Huntington-Whiteley shuts down flirting fan in style. Statham may be the action star, but Rosie's the real fighter. Rosie smirked as she scrolled through the news on her phone. Jason, sitting beside her in bed, glanced at the screen. Do I need to be worried? She kissed his cheek. No, darling, you're stuck with me. Jason chuckled, wrapping an arm around her. Good. And just like that, they moved on. Because in the end, Jason Statham may have been the action star. But Rosie? Rosie was the one people would think twice before messing with. Would you have done what Rosie did? Let us know in the comments. And if you found this story as thrilling as we did, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Story Dash for more powerful and unforgettable stories. Because sometimes, the fiercest battles aren't fought with fists. They're fought with words.